The traders are betting over $10 million that the US government shuts down by Friday. If they are right, Bitcoin usually makes the first move, and that could decide whether your portfolio dips or pumps this weekend. So let's break it down simply. What is a government shutdown in simple terms, how it happens, and what's really going on right now, and what might happen to your crypto portfolios? Let's go. CryptoNinjas is where we break down crypto-related topics in an oversimplified way, so make sure to like and subscribe for more contents like this. Thank you very much. Okay, so what is a government shutdown and how it happens? Well, you can think of the government like a huge company. It needs money to pay people, aka the federal agents, keep offices open, services essentials, and run programs. In the US, the Congress, or the lawmakers, has to approve funding bills on a regular basis, kind of like renewing a subscription or approving a budget to keep the federal government running. If Congress approves the funding on time, well, everything continues normally. But if they miss the deadline, well, the non-essential services will close, like parks or offices, some agencies, etc. The essentials will still stay open. For example, the military, the air traffic, border security, ICE, or border patrol. The federal workers will be furloughed, which means there is no pay until everything is fixed. For example, the last government shutdown on October 1st, 2025 was the longest in history. It lasted for about 43 days. It cost over 670,000 federal employees to be furloughed, with another 730,000 plus employees working without pay. The non-essential services were halted, reporting in billions in withheld wages. So yeah, it was not a good situation for anybody. Okay, so what might cause the upcoming government shutdown? It is ICE. No, not the type that gives people the chills, just the illegal aliens. What happened was there were two fatal shootings in Minneapolis this month by federal agents. On January 7, 2026, an ICE officer fatally shot a 37-year-old woman named Renee Good during an immigration operation in South Minneapolis. Her death sparked protests and widespread criticism, with local leaders saying the shooting was unjustified and demanding accountability. Then, more recently, on January 24th, a 37-year-old intensive care nurse named Alex Peretti was shot and killed by federal agents during a protest in Minneapolis tied to immigration enforcement. While the Department of Homeland Security said officers fired in self-defense after the man allegedly approached them with a handgun, bystander videos and city officials questioned that account, noting that he appeared to be filming, not holding a handgun, and helping others before the shots were fired. Both incidents have intensified public anger and protests, and they've fueled political tensions over how immigration enforcement is being conducted and overseen. In Congress, some lawmakers, including Senate Democrats, have pushed back, saying that they won't approve Department of Homeland Security funding without reforms to training, oversight, and use of force policies. Other members, Republicans specifically, reject big changes or splitting the DHS out. They want the full package passed as is. And that's it. The big package that funds defense, health, transportation, and crucially, Department of Homeland Security, DHS, which runs ICE, immigration enforcement, was halted. There is still no deal inside, so yeah, we might have a shutdown. Now, you might be thinking, okay, US politics drama, blah, blah, blah. What does that have to do with my crypto portfolio? Well, here's the simple answer. Traditional markets close when uncertainty hits, but not crypto. We are 24/7, baby. Stocks can't wait for Monday, but Bitcoin reacts instantly. So when shutdown headlines hits, the investors want to reduce risk. That means big funds will pull liquidity out and market makers widen the spreads. And because crypto trades 24/7, Bitcoin becomes the first pressure valve. That's why every major political shock like rate decisions, wars, banking scares, Bitcoin moves before everything else. So when the shutdown risk rises, crypto traders pay attention first. Now, let's see what the market is saying at the moment. On Polymarket, the chances of yes on shutdown by January 31st jumped to 78 to 81%, with an $8 to $11 million plus in volume. That tells us one thing clearly. A lot of traders believe politicians won't reach a deal in time. So when odds rise this fast, it usually means that negotiations look stuck. But that doesn't mean a shutdown is guaranteed. It just means that risk is currently priced high. And when risk is priced high, crypto traders pay attention. So has a government shutdown ever killed crypto? Not really. What shutdowns actually do is very simple. They create uncertainty. And when people feel uncertain, they sell fast. That's when you see quick dips and wild price swings. Once the situation is solved, the market usually calms down again. Let's look at the brief history. Back in 2013, the shutdown lasted for about 16 days. Bitcoin was still young and in a strong uptrend. Instead of crashing, Bitcoin actually went up around 10 to 14%. Some even treated it as a protection against government chaos. In 2018 to 2019, we had a much longer shutdown. Bitcoin dropped around 6 to 10% and altcoins fell even harder. But here's the key. Crypto was already in a bear market, so the shutdown just added extra fear. It wasn't the main cause. Then in 2025, we had the longest shutdown ever. Bitcoin dipped below key levels, altcoins bled, and liquidity got tight. But once the situation ended, money flowed back in and the market bounced hard. So the pattern is very clear. Shutdowns cause short-term fear. Crypto reacts fast because it trades 24/7. But in the bigger picture, shutdowns are usually just noise. What really matters are market cycles, institutional money, and the halving. And right now, we're in a post-halving consolidation with big players still accumulating. That's why the long-term structure still looks solid. Okay, so what do I think personally on what could happen? So there are a few scenarios, okay? The first scenarios is that the shutdown actually happens. So what happens then? Well, you can expect the usual panic mode. People get scared, they sell fast. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin briefly dip into the $85,000 to $86,000 zone to test the support. Weaker altcoins, especially the ones with low trading volume, they could get hit way harder, maybe down like 20, even 40% in the fear wave. We've seen this pattern every time there's uncertainty, right? But here's why I'm not panicking. This is classic buy the dip territory for long-term holders. If you look at the history, after the 43-day record shutdown in 2025, Bitcoin dipped hard, but then it bounced back strong once the deal was done and money flowed back in. Same thing happened in 2013, 2018, 2019 government shutdowns. The pain is short, but the rebound is real. Scenario 2, government shutdown does not happen. The US government can avoid it or is super short, which can happen a lot because politicians hate long shutdowns. Nobody likes it. Last minute deals are very common as well. So if a deal can drop on a, let's say, Friday morning, fear flips into relief instantly. The shorts will get squeezed, buyers jump in, Bitcoin could rally quick towards 92 to maybe even $94,000, $95,000. Ethereum usually loves these risk-on bounces as well, so Ethereum is a good play if you want to watch the market. So treat this government shutdown as noise and short-term drama because the real trend hasn't changed. Institutions are buying and stacking up Bitcoin on every dip that they can. The halving makes Bitcoin scarcer every 4 years. None of that disappears because, the US politicians argue for a week, right? And on the regulation side, the Clarity Act is about to be released in the upcoming weeks, which means clearer crypto rules for the US. So yeah, it's very bullish in 2026 and in the years follow. Make sure to check out our videos on the Clarity Act up here on the video. And that's it for me on the upcoming government shutdown. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to watch out for any news about the government shutdown and stay safe out there. Like and subscribe to CryptoNinjas for more contents like this. Daily out.